I've been studying with the BKs now for 25 years. And this topic for me, it touches my heart so much because when I think about contentment and I think about the people I know who are content, there's about 3 people on that list that I could say. And that's not the our ancestor souls, our daddies and our seniors here, just of the people I know. I would put 3 people on that list, and guess what? I'm not on that list. So this contentment topic is really of interest to me. So today what I'd like to do is just share some of the discoveries I've had in relation to this theme of contentment. So I want to share with you a couple of slides because when I was thinking about the magic of contentment, I don't know much about magic, but I do love this wands imagery that you have on all of your logos, your materials. And I was thinking about magic, and I watched a show once. I can't remember what it was called, but they explained the 3 different steps in any magic act. And apparently the first step is the setup. So they get the audience kind of intrigued with what they're going to do. And then the second step, which I think is the most interesting one, is the redirection step, where they redirect your attention somewhere else so that the magician can do whatever they need to do, slip the card from behind the deck, or there's always some technical thing that the magician does. And then the third step is the big reveal. Suddenly, poof, the person's been cut in half, or, the rabbit comes out of the hat. And you didn't notice where that rabbit came from because the skill was in the second step of redirecting. So when I was thinking about my experience of contentment with the Brahma Kumaris, I actually think this is very, very much how it's happened for me, is that I got this great introduction to contentment, initial first waves of happiness that came when I encountered the Brahma Kumaris and I had my first spiritual experiences. But for the last 25 years, I would say I've been in the redirect phase, step number 2 of the magic act. So every day paying attention to my study, daily study, attention to daily meditation practice, morning and evening, stopping every hour or so just to reconnect and reset myself during the day. All of these things, including being here with you. My life is full of all these wonderful practices and activities that I'm going to say are basically the redirect step of the magic act. Because what I've noticed is from time to time, a rabbit appears. And I don't know where that rabbit came from because I was so busy studying, meditating, doing all my things, that slowly what's happening behind the scenes is the magician, in this case, God, is doing what needs to be done in order for this contentment to magically appear. So I would say I go along on a day-to-day basis, not really. I would say happiness is there, but I wouldn't say contentment is always there, which is why I'm not on my own short list of 3 people who I consider content. But that's because I think the process is such that while I'm being redirected to study and do these things, what's happening is the rabbit's getting ready to come out of the hat, and every now and then I'll see it. So that's just a starting point for my experience of contentment. And what I'd like to share is some of the secrets that I've discovered, what's happening in this redirection phase. So let's check in with you, because I know I can't really see you, but I'm looking at you, imagining all your beautiful faces. But I can see the chat box. So I'm going to ask you right now to take a moment And just think about who in your world would you say is content? I said I only have 3 people, and actually it's probably 2.5, but let's say. So just think any of the faces of contentment, and it could be your cat if you have one. They do seem to do contentment quite well. Don't have to chat box any of this, but just think for a moment, anyone in your life. But this one, I'd love you to have just a little self-check and think about your own level of contentment. I'm going to say the blue smiley face is the low end of this continuum of contentment, and the green face would be the high end. So let's say 1 is the low end, 10 is the high end. Where would you place yourself? Give yourself a number, sort of generally, what's your level of contentment? But you can't choose 5 because that's not choosing. Okay, so it could be 4 if you're on the other side, the low end of this scale, or it could be 6 if you're reasonably content. You're not discontent. So you can think for a moment and pop into the chat box. There's a 6, wonderful. 7, lovely, Marla. 6, 7. Yeah, I'd probably put myself in the 7 category as well. 7, lovely. Hopeful. That's great, Tanvir. I'm a hopeful. 6, 7, okay, I see a 4. 8, lovely. We have secrets to learn from you. Wonderful. Okay, another 8 from Salva. Davao is here. Welcome, Davao. So nice. I see Makati in Philippines. Oh, how lovely to have such friends here today. Lovely to see you all. Know you're here anyways. Okay, so that was a quick self-check. Thank you for playing along with that. So why is it that our contentment isn't there all the time? I think most of us know, but I'm going to start with some of the secrets that I have discovered about contentment. Oh, before we go there, quick question. Is this even a desirable aim for you? This is actually a key question. Because I know here at the Meditation Center, the people that come and discover that, oh, contentment is one of our aims, it's certainly my aim. It's a very desirable aim for me. But the people that come to the Meditation Center, I find they're not actually really interested in contentment, partly because they seem to really enjoy the roller coaster ride of high emotions and low emotions. And for them, contentment, they associate it with flatlining, with being dead. You know, if I wasn't having a big high or a big low, then I wouldn't be alive. And I think that's a very interesting thing to consider, because for me, it was one of the early obstacles I noticed to my own willingness to embrace contentment, that I was actually internally, in a subconscious way, resisting contentment because I was afraid it would be comfort zone. I got the two mixed up. I got comfort zone, sort of being lazy and sitting on the couch all day, mixed up with contentment. I had the wrong association with contentment. But I know many people who come to the center, they actually associate contentment with flatlining, with being dead, and they would rather have the roller coaster. So I ask you now, is this a desirable aim? Because it's really when it's a desirable aim that it will naturally start emerging. It's been my experience anyways. A little more rabbits coming out of my hat since I have faced my fear of the comfort zone and embraced a really deep desire for contentment. And I would say, Tanvir, steady mind and love in my heart, wonderful definition of contentment. Beautiful. So yes, that's high on your list as a desirable aim. Very nice. I did a session once called Emotional Resilience, and I've studied resilience for a number of years professionally. And I couldn't understand. So, what would emotional resilience be? Is that being strong emotionally? And I discovered in the research for the session that, we have all of these emotions all day. And in one day, we can have these plus many more. And what I had the group do, which I won't have you do, I had them stand, I called out every one of these emotions. So I said happy. And when I said happy, everyone had to stand up out of their chairs. So everybody got up out of their chair. And then I said, okay, angry, I'll sit down. So everybody sat down. And I said, surprised, stand up. Everybody stood up. Sad, sit down, sit down. So we did this for about 3 minutes, and people were up and they were down and they were up and they were down and they were up and they were down. And at the end, I asked, how do you feel? Exhausted. Exactly. So that's what the emotional roller coaster does for us, is it exhausts us. It's pretty hard to be content when you're exhausted. So one of the keys is I have to sort of face my love of the roller coaster of high drama and emotions and make this my aim. I want to be content. So let's explore some of the secrets of contentment. And one of the first ones, which I'm sure you would have heard at some point in your connection with the Brahma Kumaris, is that contentment is actually innate. It's inside of me all the time already. It's not something I have to work for. And thank you to Anthea Church. Madhvi was talking about the 16 Degrees book, the Living as Art book that I wrote with my friend and colleague here, Debbie Castle, who's also studying with the BKs. And the book, the reason I love the book and the reason many love the book is that Anthea Church's writings are throughout the book. She gave me full permission to include her writings. And one of the most beautiful things she's written about is the Art of Contentment. And she describes it as an underground river whose course just cannot be daunted. And of course, if that's true, if contentment is in fact constantly flowing like an underground river in me, then why is it I don't feel it every day? Why is it I'm not constantly content? So secret number one is that contentment is there. The next secrets are going to be about what I have to do to stay in touch with contentment, to allow it to come into my awareness. Because what happens is most of us are living life on the surface level. So while this river is running freely underground all the time, 24/7, inside of me, I'm actually spending most of my awareness, my conscious time at the surface level. And at the surface level, there's noise. People are pounding, throwing trash into the river, making noise. Surface level is noisy. And in particular for us as beings of consciousness, beings of awareness, as souls, the things we pay attention to in life are going to draw our awareness away from this naturally flowing inner rhythm. One of them, so I'm just going to share 3 really simple ones. And these came from Sister Janti gave a wonderful class at the start of the year, actually, about contentment. She was revising our regular morning class here. And one of the things she said was the insecurity inside of each of us leads us to greed. I want more. It'll make me feel more secure, even if that's more friends, more nice experiences, more amazing meditation experiences. The energy of greed, comparison, comparing myself to others, competition and jealousy. They create discontentment inside of me. This is surface level awareness. And of course, this kind of awareness multiplies the negativity that's in me. I'm not going to linger long on these negative ones because I think we all know these. These are the things that steal my contentment, that steal my awareness away from the natural underground river. Second one, big one. When I'm not taking responsibility for myself, then my finger is pointing out there. And, Daddy Janky used to do this and say, where are these fingers pointing? Well, they're pointing back at me. So,
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Judy, I was just going to say, if we talk about Sister Jayanti and Dadi Janki, you need to just mention who they are, because we got
okay.
lots of newcomers and people who are not PKs. Thank
Oh,
you.
lovely. Okay.
Yeah.
So Sister Janti is one of our really most beautiful and senior teachers, and she's located in London, but she's responsible for all the Brahma Kumari's activities in the Europe and the Middle East, and is now an administrative head of the organization. And Daddy Janki was the administrative head of the Brahma Kumaris, one of our most senior and beloved sisters, older sisters, an elder who has taught many of us, who've shared her wisdom with so many of us, that she lives in our hearts, even though she left her body a couple of years ago. And she was, those in London would know her very, very well because she was there so often. So I hope that's okay for the rest of you. So not taking responsibility for myself. Lame really makes me discontent. It's one of those things. And of course, when I am discontent, the lens through which I look at the world just begins to see problems everywhere because my own inner agitation. So discontent is really like it's energetic agitation in the soul. Can be expressed as restlessness, boredom, the other things, greed, comparison, etc. But I am not going to linger there because I actually think we know a fair amount about discontentment. So we're not going there. We're going to go to the secrets. So secret number one, though, is that naturally contentment flows inside of me like a river. Secret number two is one of the things that I have found is part of our redirection in the Magic Act. I need to pay attention to my happiness on a day-to-day basis because happiness is like a signpost. It's a signal for me that I'm on track, that I'm on track at the surface level, that my awareness, my attention, my actions, my words are actually going in a direction that will keep me in tune with contentment, will keep me close to my underground river. So happiness is kind of like the most obvious signal of contentment, that I'm staying close to my contentment. So happiness is secret number two. This is where you're going to need your pencil and your piece of paper, because I'm going to have you do a little activity here. So secret number one, contentment's in me all the time. Secret number two, happiness is a signpost that I'm staying close so that I can feel and experience that inner river that's flowing through me. Then I need to be tracking my happiness. I actually have to know what makes me truly happy, not temporarily happy. I think we all know some of the fixes we use, some of the temporary things we use to bring that sense of happiness. And they're short-lived, and usually they cause problems for me. Everything from comfort eating, putting that thing in my mouth because in that moment, gives me a sense of fulfillment. Something fills the hole in the soul, but it's actually quite temporary. And now I've added weight to the body. Say, one example, shopping, internet, movies, anything. We all know what it is that we use. And if we don't, it's time to know it because it steals my happiness, although it gives me temporary happiness. But so I must know what makes me happy. And this is the redirection part. This is the thing we stay occupied with in our life so that we stay close to the river of contentment. I have to learn to keep an accurate account of what comes in terms of happiness so that I can notice what's increasing my happiness and I can master, I can take care of those things that reduce my account of happiness. So I kind of have to be a bit of an accountant, and I have to pay attention to my happiness account, and I have to notice, where are the debits and where are the credits? Where am I adding? What is it that I'm involved in? Oh, I see Priya's having trouble hearing. Uh-oh. Is this true for others? Do I need to get closer to my mic? Or is it just Priya needs to do something? Priya, there you go. Anyways, audio's clear. Thank you. Okay, so I'll stay close to my microphone. Sound is great. Okay, thank you. Okay, Priya, I hope you have to figure it out. So this is something I have to do. I have to keep track of my happiness account. Okay, so that's secret number 2. If happiness is my biggest indicator, then I have to pay attention to it. So here's the activity we're going to do. I'm going to ask you to reflect, and with your pen and your paper, I'm going to ask you to just quickly do a list of the 10 things that make you happy.
Sorry, I was just going to say, hang on. I was just going to say that if there is any problem with the sound or something, rest assured I'll be, I'll pop in, okay?
Okay, thank you, Mikey. Thank you. So with your pen and your paper, if you can, just take a moment and do a quick list. 10 things that make you happy. Go. Okay, hoping you've got a list. Everyone got a list of 10. You don't have to share these. And I don't know about you, but I think I could have come up with 10 very quickly before COVID. And I think I already have a short list. I have a shorter list now of things that make me happy, because lots of things have been removed from the list. But just have a look at your list. I know for me, tea, it's just a cup of tea actually was top of my list. Being with friends, all these kinds of things could be on your list as well as mine. Now I'd like you to review your list of 10, and I want you to create a short list of 5. So the top 5, the things that make you truly happy. So underline the top 5 on your list. Okay, you with me? Got your top 5? Just a thumbs up. We'll see how you're doing. Hopefully that's not too hard to do. Your top 5. So we're talking about happiness here, not contentment. Happiness, just happiness. What makes you happy? Truly happy. Okay. So now I want you to look at this list of 5, because already we've begun to be an accountant and we're beginning to discern the difference between what makes me truly happy and happy. Okay, because you were forced to choose. So let's just look at this list for a moment. And I'd like you to think about what are the qualities you experience or express in yourself during those situations. So whatever you've written on your list. So for me, having a cup of tea. Usually I'm staring out the window. I'm very peaceful. I'm often reflective. And I guess because I've made time for tea, I feel free. It's like time out. I feel free. So those would be an example of some of the qualities I am experiencing in myself or expressing during that time. Peace, freedom, and I guess reflection. So take a look at your list of 5 and write next to them any of the qualities that you experience during that situation. So of your 5 things that make you happy, what quality are you experiencing during that? Of course, happiness, but what other qualities are you experiencing at that time? Okay, and I'll just leave you alone with that for a minute to reflect. Okay, so we're beginning to see there are different qualities, yeah? Many of you may have the spending times with friends, and for me, when I'm with friends and I'm having meaningful conversation, what I experience in myself is trust, actually, and respect and love. So, that's, I want you to know these qualities because it's going to be connected to secret number 3. Okay. So it's important that we know the qualities we are experiencing in ourselves when we are happy. Okay. So I'm trusting. Are you finished with that? Okay. Because I have a couple more questions for you before we move on. So yes, I'm seeing some in the chat box. Lovely. And there might be some nice surprises there for you. In your top 5, what are the qualities you experience in yourself? Feel free to put those in the chat box if you would like. It's a nice way for us to get to know each other, and especially those that are here all the time. So any qualities you experience in yourself during in those moments when you are experiencing happiness. So yes, peace seems to be one of them. I know when I walk on the beach, I experience, it's like feeling fresh. I guess that's purity, but like freshness, silence, nice. I also feel powerful when I walk on the beach, and I feel free and I feel unlimited. So all of these, I mean, we need these words. Having these words is really helpful. Um, Lovely, lovely to see these words. These are your own qualities, right? That you're experiencing in those moments of happiness, grateful and blessed, beautiful. When you're family and with your children, what's the quality you're experiencing inside yourself? Clarity of mind, lovely, angelic, which is what? Subtle, loveful, benevolent, gratitude, lovely. These are the things we're feeling, we're experiencing when we're happy. Okay. Being healthy, lovely. Serene, sweet. I feel sweet, lovely. I feel joyful, feel strength, blissful, strong. Fantastic. Okay, now these words are going to be very, very important when we get to secret number 2. And somebody asked that I repeat secrets 1 and 2, or number 3. When we repeating number 1 secret is contentment is an underground river that flows inside me at all times. It's naturally there. Secret number 2, happiness is the signpost, the signal that I'm on track, that I'm staying close to my inner river of contentment. Okay, so we're exploring happiness because I need to be an accountant and notice what makes me truly happy and what doesn't make me happy, because I need to monitor this if I'm going to stay on track with contentment. Okay, so here we go. Another quick question. Look at your list of 5. Which of these activities requires the fewest props? So the fewest external supports. So my cup of tea, which is top of my list, actually requires a cup and a kettle and a tea bag. So that's three props, shall we say. Walking on the beach requires, well, probably a car and the beach, but 2. Friends requires, so just look at your list. I mean, I think COVID has really helped us shrink the number of props we're reliant upon. You know, that my list of happy things might have included, you know, going to movies or restaurants or bars or, you know, to the Midway, the fair, all of these things that are very prop intensive. COVID has really been a gift to most of us in that it shrunk the number of props we require to be happy. In fact, I think COVID's really helped us notice what really makes me happy. And it's so small. They're very small things. Would you say that's true for all of you as a general principle during this COVID time? So just a note to self, look at your list, which require fewer props. And I'm going on the assumption that we all need fewer props now because we've got through this 1.5 years of COVID. All right, last question on this reflection. Great, no props required for Shirley. Wonderful. All right, so last one, here we go. Which one? Tough choice. Look at your list of 5. Which one, which thing on your list do you experience the most happiness? I'd like you to circle that one, please. And this one we can put in the chat box. Because we know it's not really the cup of tea, it's the reflection, the freedom and the peace. But I'm going to put my cup of tea on the list for me. Being alive. Oh, it's a good one. Happy I'm alive. Being with myself. Lovely. So in whatever, it's not even the activity that matters, is it? Could be meditation, could be the cup of tea, like for me. Yeah, lovely. So pick the one, and you'll know then what's most important for you. Oh dear, Sandhya, sunny day. Oh, bless you. I hope you don't live in the UK where there is lack of sun on many, many days. A little bit like here, we have a lot of rain and gray here. Lovely, being grateful. Okay. So, being in the garden. Thank you, Sharon. And probably because you know what you're experiencing when you're in the garden, right? Probably experiencing a lot of beauty inside yourself, a lot of joy. Lovely. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. So this is secret number 2, keeping track. You're in Melbourne now, but your home is Mauritius. So of course there's lots of sun there. And in Melbourne, thank you. To be in the woods and in the nature, Monique, and of course understanding what you experience there. Besides happiness, there's a lot of other things, right? Okay, thank you. So this is secret number 2, that I need to keep track of what makes me happy, because it is a signal that I am on track with my underground river of contentment. Now remember, this is magic, and the magic trick is introduction. Second step, redirection. I need to pay attention to all of these things, because then the rabbit comes out of the hat. Contentment's just there. Oh, puff. Where did that come from? That rabbit. Well, it was always there. I just didn't see it because I was busy taking care of these other things. And the thing I can take care of, because it's visible to me, it's above ground, is my happiness. That's why I need to track my happiness. What gets in the way and what makes me truly happy. So that's secret number 2. All good? It's funny not being able to see faces, but I'm gonna guess it's all good. I'm gonna give you now secret number 3. Of course, this is just from my experience. Number 3, and this is very much connected to the qualities you just identified in yourself. So these qualities, it is my understanding that contentment is really all about coming home to myself. And this is why it's important to track my happiness, because behind all of my thoughts, all of my words, all of my actions, all of my interactions, there is a drive inside of me, something that is seeking to be satisfied. That I am most discontent when I am not satisfying this deep drive. And what is that deep drive? That deep drive inside of you, inside of me, is to experience my true self, to be me. This deep drive, when it is satisfied, I am very content. When I'm awakened to this, to my inner essence, then all of my actions, my thoughts, my words, my activities throughout the day will line up with my deepest self, and I will be content. I will be one of these faces of contentment. Thus, the importance of meditation. Thus, the importance of journaling and reflection. I would suggest for the one who's journaling, have a conversation with yourself. Ask yourself important questions like, how am I feeling right now? Why? Have conversations with yourself to get beneath the surface of constant chatter that's always going in my mind to a deeper level, where I begin to awaken my true self, my inner essence. Because when I'm awakened to that, which is what we do here with the Brahma Kumaris, we learn about who I am. I am this beautiful being. I am full of love and peace and power and all these virtues. And they just get crowded out by the noise of all the other thoughts that are coming from conditioned parts of me, that are coming from the noise of the world around me, from some of my weaknesses and habits. That's not who I am. That's what's going on inside of me. They're different. who I am is different from all that noise. So as I begin to awaken to who I really am, then I begin to only do those things that feel like a natural expression of who I am. And then I'm consistent and I begin to do only those things that make me happy. Why? Because I know what makes me happy and I'm not willing to compromise on my happiness because it's actually who I am. So the final secret, secret number 3, is this: the soul is naturally content and needs nothing external to create contentment. In fact, nothing external or material can make me, the soul, content. Nothing. The more I try to use external things to fill the hole in the soul, the more entrapped I will become in things that then require my attention. And it ends up being a bit like a bondage or a habit or something I need, a dependency. So nothing external or material can make me content, but what can make me content is an accurate expression of who I really am. So at the end of the day, excuse me, contentment is an expression of deep satisfaction in the soul. When at the end of the day, I have lived this day true to myself, that feeling of satisfaction brings me to sit right by the side of the river of contentment that flows inside me every day, all the time. Expression of deep satisfaction in the soul. This is contentment, staying on track with myself. By tracking my happiness, what makes me happy, what steals my happiness, and to make sure that I'm accumulating moments, activities, events, actions, thoughts, and feelings that create happiness for myself. And I'm minimizing those activities, thoughts, words, and actions that are stealing my happiness. So at the end of the day, I can be with myself and satisfied with myself. So what I would like to do, there are possibly going to be some questions, but what I'd like to do is I'd like to offer you a moment to absorb this. Just have a look at your list to remember the 3 secrets. 1, contentment is an underground river. It's always there. 2, happiness, tracking my happiness is the way to stay close to that river, to stay on track. And 3, contentment is actually an expression of myself, my true self. That the drive to fulfill is being satisfied. And the deepest drive in the soul is the drive to be myself and to express my fundamental nature, which is why the qualities you experience when you're happy are so important to know, because those qualities are in fact you. Those are the qualities of the soul, the true self. So that is you, and that is going to seek, that's going to drive to be expressed. That is the deep drive inside of you that requires expression. I know for myself, drinking tea. Okay, but what am I doing when I'm drinking tea? Often I'm imagining or I'm churning. And that's why writing has been so important for me. It's actually a way to be creative. It's a natural expression of what I'm learning. And by writing it down, I actually get greater clarity. I know Mike George and I have talked about this often. Why are we writing? It's not really for others. It's for me, because I get greater clarity every time I attempt to put something very profound and very deep and big every time I attempt to put it in words. And I write daily thoughts every day, pretty substantive daily thoughts that come from our morning class here. And yes, it benefits others. People love receiving the daily thoughts. In fact, that's why one of the books was written, because somebody said, I want to send this to my mom, or I want to send this to my partner, but they'd never, ever receive it on email. So if you could just put them in a book, please, then I could just give them the book and then they'd have that for Christmas. And I said, great, send me your favorites. So about 40 people who received the daily thoughts on a daily basis sent me their 20 favorite thoughts. And together that all added up to, 365 plus or minus a few. And it went out to people. But those daily thoughts were not created for that purpose. Although they serve that purpose, they were created because I needed a way to experience and express one of my deepest qualities is clarity. I love clarity. I feel happiest when I am clear inside, when I know what I'm about, when I understand the situation I'm in and what's going on there, and especially when I understand spiritual wisdom that I'm studying every day. So clarity is actually the drive of this soul, and that drive is seeking expression all the time. And I'm at my most content. It's a funny thing to say, but when I have written a paragraph, one tiny paragraph of words that expresses something deep and a bit elusive, that expresses it clearly, that's just, in that moment, I breathe a sigh of relief, and it's like I am internally so content that I could just sit there for a few minutes. And usually I do. I just sit there and enjoy the moment. But the drive demands expression, and I'm off to another one. So anyways, that's all part of the story of the drive needing to express itself. So that's mine. And good for you to reflect on what is yours, especially knowing the qualities you experience when you're happy. That's why that exercise was really important to do. Yes, I'm happy. I know what makes me happy, but what else am I experiencing when I'm happy? That's going to be the inner drive that you need to express. So paying attention to that. So before I turn it back to Madhvi for questions, what I brought is 4 kind of blessings, 4 inspirations, I guess, for you. So I'd like, if I could, just to take a moment and do just a little bit of deep reflection, a little meditation. And then I'd like to give you each one of these inspirations custom fit for you to help you stay close to that inner river of contentment, which is flowing inside of you. So if that's okay, Madhvi, I'm just going to do kind of a moment of silence and
It's
little
fine.
meditation.
Lovely.
I know we have 2 or 3 minutes here before we go into Q&A. So, and I'm definitely happy to share with you the, anybody who would like to be on the Daily Thoughts list from here. And I can also put Madhvi on the Daily Thought list, and she can share them with the mailing list. It might be the easiest way to go about this, but and I'll definitely send you Madhvi's asked that I send a link to all the books. They're all available on Amazon, so I can send links for all of those very easily. And we're producing another Daily Thought book for Christmas as a gift, and it will be available on Amazon, partly because the Daily Thought people have written to me and said, this COVID year, boy, those Daily Thoughts have been extra special this last year. So we're taking the favorites from last year, and we're going to create another book for Christmas gift this year as well. So we will gather all those things we need. Don't you worry. And I will send the PowerPoint for anybody who would like to use it in their center if they would like to have this conversation in whatever BK center you're in. So you'll get absolutely everything you need to support your continued journey here with contentment. But for this moment, if you can just set aside all those desires and wishes and just enjoy for a moment the deep contentment of having made the choice to be here today. So if you'll join me in this, just hands free, hands away from pens or typing, hands away from thoughts and minds away from, I need this, requesting that, just hands free. If you can, sit for a moment and close your eyes. So nothing externally will draw your attention just for this brief moment. Although we practice open-eyed meditation, sometimes we begin by just making it very conscious to close my eyes and come inside my inner world. And let's begin just with a deep breath. Hold it and release very slowly. One more deep breath. You can feel your body grounding, hey, and you can feel your mind wherever it's been. Release, just coming back to the awareness of your own body. And just be aware right now of the tactile experience of your body against the chair you're in. Feel the definition of your body against the chair. All of this is to bring you out of the flying thoughts that go here and there, and bringing your awareness, grounding it in the body, giving a little attention to the body. Let it relax. I'm going to ask you now if you can feel or hear your own heartbeat. Okay, I think you'll notice that this has concentrated your awareness now. Bring that concentrated awareness up from your heart now, up to the forehead, behind the eyes, to that room in your head, inside the brain where the soul resides in the human body. I'm going to ask you to just be aware of yourself as a sparkling being of spiritual light. Visualize a tiny star sparkling behind the eyes. That's what we see sparkling in the eyes, is the soul. I'd like you just to remember those moments of happiness. You're wiser now. Maybe you didn't know before, but you definitely know now. Maybe you always knew what makes you happy. I'd like you just to take a moment and experience, remember the experience of being happy. And those small activities that help you experience your own happiness inside. And with each breath of the body, I would like you to sink into happiness. Sinking, sinking, sinking. Do you feel like you're just floating in a sea of happiness? Your mind is absolutely saturated with the energy of happiness. And as you sink deeper and deeper, you encounter the river of contentment that flows in you, easily accessed. A moment of silence, a moment of choosing to go inwards deep, and just to feel, I'm here, I'm alive. Whoever I am, whatever I am, precious. Whatever is inside of me will be expressed. Then, poof, like a rabbit from the hat, contentment appears, just like magic. Just hold that as you breathe in and out. As you're breathing in and out, I'd like you to select a number between 1 and 4. Whatever number comes first to your mind, just hold that. And now I'm going to reveal the magic wand. Poof! Will reveal by number your secret, your customized inspiration, wizards, magicians, magic to help you stay close to your own contentment. Here we go. Those of you who selected number 1, this is your inspiration, your thought to keep close. Number 1, beauty. Keep your eye on beauty. Hold the awareness that you sparkle with the natural beauty of a peaceful mind, generous heart, and an understanding nature. Take a screenshot of that if you'd like, or I will send so Madhvi has. Those who selected number 1, it's beauty that will help you stay close to contentment. Those who chose number 2, here we go. Appreciative. By celebrating the greatness of others, you become a great soul. So for those who chose number 2, your magic mantra will be to be appreciative, to just notice the greatness in others, the goodness, the kindness, the virtue, the beauty. And by doing that, you will be content. Those who chose number 3, here we go. Faith. This is your magic mantra. This is what will help you stay content. Through the power of unshakable faith in the self, barriers of fear and doubt are replaced by a trust that can move mountains. Beautiful. So those who chose number 3, this is what will help you stay content, is having faith in yourself. You can do it. You can get through it. You can do anything that's required. Look back at your track record. You've got through other things. You will get through this one. Faith. Faith in self. Beautiful. And those who chose number 4, here we go. This is your magic mantra. Harmony. You are a generous soul who considers the pursuit of harmony to be the same as the pursuit of happiness. So by being harmonious with others, creating a sense of harmony in your vibration with others, you will be happy and you will be content. So the magic mantra for those who chose number 4, this is yours. And poof, Om Shanti.